King Tut was a product of incest as his parents were brother and sister. He had a club foot, a severe overbite, womanly hips, and enlarged breasts. Most experts agree that he probably died as a result of these deformities. The human head can remain conscious and aware for up to 20 seconds after being decapitated. A student was once taking an exam and couldn't handle the stress and anxiety anymore. So he put 2 pencils up his nostrils and headbutted the desk, forcing the pencils through his brain. He died instantly and all the other students got automatic A's. Seth MacFarlane and Mark Wahlberg were both booked to fly on American Airlines Flight 11, the first plane that crashed into the World Trade Center on 9/11. Wahlberg decided last minute to fly to Toronto instead, while MacFarlane missed the flight by 10 minutes due to a hangover. Both have said they've had countless dreams of the scenario in which they got on that plane. During the Holocaust, famous Jewish boxer Shlomo Aruch was forced to fight fellow prisoners at Auschwitz. It was merely for the entertainment of Nazi officers, and the losers would be sent to the gas chambers. Aruch survived over 200 fights over a 2-year span and was freed when the camp was liberated. In 2008, robbery convict Rene Lima Marin was accidentally released from prison 90 years early. Following the accidental release, he got a job, got married, and had kids. He also coached youth soccer and was very active in his local church. But when authorities noticed the errors 6 years later, they sent him back to prison to serve out the rest of his sentence. In the 1950s, there was a serial killer in Thailand who was so feared by the people that he was publicly executed. Afterwards, he was put on display in a glass box so that everyone could see that he was really dead. You can still publicly view his body today. When 13-year-old Ryan White got AIDS from a blood donor in 1984, he was only given 6 months to live. Even though doctors said he posed no risk to other students, he was banned from returning to school by a petition signed by 117 parents. An auction was even held to raise funds to keep him out, and a local newspaper that supported him received death threats. The family was forced to leave town when a bullet was shot through the window of their home. Ryan outlived the doctor's diagnosis by 5 years, dying at the age of 19. Frank Goldsmith was a Titanic survivor who later lived near Tiger Stadium in Detroit. But he said he never took his children to a ball game because the roar of the crowd reminded him of the screams of people dying in the freezing waters. A man in Washington state found a caterpillar that looks like it has the image of a human face on its back. The internet is pretty sure it was the reincarnation of Edgar Allan Poe. Otters in the Amazon are apex predators that can grow up to 6 feet long. They have been known to prey on small anacondas and caimans when fish are unavailable. The giant groundsel is a prehistoric plant that is only found on top of Mount Kilimanjaro. For years, scientists didn't know what created various massive cave networks in South America. In 2010, they learned that the caves were actually tunnels dug by ancient giant ground sloths. A 19-year-old girl named Olga was camping with her stepfather in Russia when a mother brown bear attacked them. After the bear broke her stepfather's neck and smashed his skull, Olga attempted to flee. But the bear chased her down and soon grabbed her by the legs and started mauling her. Olga then managed to make 3 phone calls to her mother while being eaten alive by the bear and her 3 cubs. In the first phone call, she screamed, "Mom, the bear is eating me. Mom, it's such agony. Mom, help." At first, her mother thought it was a joke, but soon heard the true horror in her daughter's voice and the sound of bears growling and chewing. But she could only helplessly listen in horror to her daughter's screams for mercy. Nearly an hour later, the bears had left her, but Olga knew she was gonna die. She said, "Mom, I don't feel the pain anymore. Forgive me for everything. I love you so much." Morbid Facts, Part 38. The Station nightclub fire in Rhode Island was a terrible tragedy that killed 100 people in 2003. But a man named Mike Vargas managed to survive for more than 90 minutes inside the building. He was trampled by a mob trying to escape and only survived because he was insulated by all the bodies burning around him. He walked out with only minor burns on his legs, but still suffers from severe PTSD to this day. In 2015, a Texas father saved his son's life when doctors wrongly declared him brain dead and wanted to take him off life support. He barricaded himself inside the hospital room with a gun and had a 3-hour standoff with a SWAT team until his son squeezed his hand. The son eventually made a full recovery. Morbid Facts, Part 37. The first firefighter to die on 9/11 was a 37-year-old man named Daniel Sir. He was killed when a woman jumped from one of the towers and landed on top of him. Founder of CNN, Ted Turner, has a video scheduled to be broadcasted if the end of the world is ever upon us. There's a horrific belief in South Africa that sex with a virgin will cure you of HIV. Adult men have been known to rape children as young as 9 years old in hopes of a cure. It's called the virgin cleansing myth. Weird Crime Facts, Part 15. 17-year-old Tyler Hadley murdered his parents for being too strict. He beat both of them to death with a hammer and then spent 3 hours cleaning up the crime scene. He then threw a house party with 60 people while the bodies were still in the bedroom. He even showed the bodies to a few friends, but was eventually caught due to word of mouth at the party. A 70-year-old man robbed a bank in Kansas City and then sat down in the lobby and waited for the cops to arrive. He said he'd rather live in jail than with his wife. In 1993, a Missouri man damaged a levee on the Mississippi River simply to delay his wife from coming home so that he could party. Instead, the river ended up flooding over 14,000 acres. The 23-year-old man was convicted for intentionally causing a catastrophe and was sentenced to life imprisonment.